Well, do either of you guys have YouTube on so you can see if we're live yet, or?
Yeah, I've got it on.
We'll just let the little intro music play for a minute or two because YouTube likes to throw a commercial on right away. This way nobody misses anything. And we got the co-host dancing in the background. Well, that should be enough of that crap. Hey, folks, my name's Shane. Amateur radio call sign KD9NJJ on this little YouTube channel called Scout75. For a while, I've been kicking around the idea of doing a live stream like this because they're always fun to do, interact with people, but never had a real good idea to do it that's a little bit different from everybody else. But we kind of came up with one. What we're going to do is kind of go through some items or ideas or topics that would be good for people who are more into emergency comms, the prepper type people, especially those that are just getting into ham radio or are still on the outside looking in, considering to get into ham radio. What got this going for me was the recent hurricanes, Hurricane Helene, and how there were a lot of people reaching out for emergency help, and a lot of ham radio operators were really good in welcoming people without a license into the emergency nets and whatnot. And unfortunately, there's some that were being jerks about it and not helping them. A few weeks ago, I made a video on that topic, and I was kind of surprised by the response that there's a lot of people who are very against helping out people who don't have a ham license. So I'm going to go back to the roots of the beginning of this channel and be the one to help people who are interested in ham radio to get into it, especially for the prepper side of things, emergency comms, and try to be a good ambassador and not a gatekeeper. So with that, we kicked around the idea of having a topic and go through a little presentation, and then afterwards we'll just talk about amongst ourselves here. I got some friends hanging out in the background, and with these friends, the topic will probably go off the rails in about 5 minutes, and then it'll be whatever we talk about. We don't know yet. We're not there. So why don't we just hop right in and talk about this live stream topic, which is the Shack in the Box radio. That's very popular with people who are in the preparedness mindset. The logic is one radio that does it all, right? It's a pretty appealing thing. So let's go off with that, kind of the definition, and I have that in parentheses for a reason, because I'm making this topic up as I go along, or the definition. So a ham radio, Shack in the Box, in my eyes, is a ham radio that is all band and all mode, right? So what do you mean by that? It has all the common bands, HF bands, VHF, UHF, and it can handle all the modes. Your voice modes like single sideband, FM, AM, and then CW for Morse code, and then digital modes like FL Digi, FT8 call, that kind of stuff. Not necessarily all the bands. You hear some people complain that some don't have the right particular bands, but it has all the useful ones. 2 meters, 70 sims for VHF, UHF, HF. You got to have the 20 and the 40. If it doesn't have 160, it's no big deal, right? So that's kind of the key. Is the most common is the most useful, because that's where the people are going to be. It doesn't do you a lot of good to have 160 if you don't have enough wire to put up for that, or nobody's on that, but what have you. So with the Shack in the Box concept, there's some pros. Obviously, it's just one radio instead of multiple ones. Do you need to go any further than that, right? It has one manual of arms to learn, which is kind of key. One set of bobs one set of knobs, one set of buttons, one menu to dive through and get to know. So it's, you're not doing a different menu system between a different thing, and it's a good way to go. It's efficient use of space. So having multiple radios on your ham shack or in a vehicle or say on a picnic table or what have you. It's just one box, less wires, one power cable, one mat. It just makes things a little bit easier to manage. But the cons are it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's one radio instead of multiples. They really become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And one way to look at that is take uh, the one base unit that's still around that is a shack in a box, which would be the Yaesu 891. That is about the same size as any other base radio that's HF only, like a ICOM 7300 or some of the newer models. But yet it has VHF and UHF functions in there. So in order to get that much stuff into that same spot in space, you have to make some sacrifices. So I personally have the 891. It's a great radio, but it's not as great as it can be on HF as other radios, like I said, comparably the ICOM 7300. It doesn't have the filtering. It doesn't have all the everything as good as it can be. Sacrifices were made in order to fit as much as you can in that small of a space and keep it cost effective. So that's one thing to definitely remember. You're making sacrifices, and that goes the same thing of the VHF UHF side of things. And that's the biggest downside I've had with the Shack and Box radios that I have experience with is that they do not have a dual receive. Like a lot of your VHF UHF radios, you can have an A band and B band that can have different frequencies on, and you can receive at the same time. That was a downside for me when I went with this 891 is had the imagination that I could have it on my desk and I could be listening or checking into the local 2-meter net. And while I'm waiting for my turn, I can be scrolling around on HF and hunting parks on the air and summits on the air and that type of thing, but it doesn't have that capability. Another thing to keep in mind is that this full-size radios, the Shack in the Box, are kind of a power hog. Even the smaller ones that are QRO, like the old 857 and the ICOM 706, they draw a lot of amps when you're just listening, even on 2 meters, where some of the mobile ones, not quite the case. Sam's pointing out that there are some, the TS2000 is a dual receive. I'm not familiar with that radio, but I got a feeling it's a little more expensive. That kind of goes with the things. And then my last con really is when you get to the QRP size radios, like the 819, or excuse me, like the ASU 817, 818 family, or the ICOM 705, when you're down to 5 or 6 watts, or even 10 watts with an external battery, on VHF and UHF, you don't have any advantage over a handheld. So at that point, it kind of becomes, what's the point? So that's where I kind of stand on this is I see some advantages and there's some disadvantages, and you just got to find where you want to be. Where it comes to the full-size ones, like the 890 or the 991 from Yaesu, honestly, I probably would not buy this radio again that I have. I like it a lot, but as I said, for the space it takes up, I could have a standalone HF rig from Kenwood, Yaesu, ICOM, or others that does everything a lot better. And even to this day, I have a FTM 300 sitting next to it. That's my primary rig for VHF and UHF. So this Shack in the Box that I bought has been basically an HF only rig. Now, where I do see them as more of an advantage is the mobile size ones, like the old ICOM 706 or 857, which unfortunately aren't in market anymore. That I like being for a mobile setup. If you're in a vehicle, chances are you're driving down the road, you're only going to be doing one at a time. Or if you're doing some type of emergency event, storm watch or whatever, again, you're using one at a time, but it's a good sacrifice there. Uh, yeah, great point, Paul. The 891 is also older technology, and and that's where I'm going to wrap things up too. Good segue. Uh, with the QRP rigs, again, I have the 705, I have the 818. I love those rigs, but I don't primarily, I just use them for HF. When I'm out backpacking or mobile, I typically have a handheld that's more convenient for VHF and UHF. Now, newer technology is coming out. The 705, like I mentioned, is miles above everything else that have experience with digital modes and all that stuff. And Yaesu is coming back into that market again with a competitor for QRP. One would kind of hope that possibly they will have a modernized version of the 857 or the 706, and it would be probably more of the same shape as the 705, more of a brick shape with a large display and everything. And with a little luck, they will be dual receive, and with GPS, so you can do things like APRS, D-Star, System Fusion, all those things. But my guess is with all that stuff, it's going to be extremely expensive radio. I guess that'll be about $2,000. So that will be a downside. So right now, depending on the size, I think the Shack in the Box is great for some, not so great for others. Again, if dual receive is not critical for you, you may really have good luck with the 991A. But other than that, it's kind of where it's at with me. And now I'll bring in the boys. What do you think?
Howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
Hey.
I like
Do
the
we want to do a round
991A.
announcement, or should we just jump into it? I should introduce everybody.
What?
What? On the bottom, we have the Shacking Off brothers, Norm and Greg. They both have a fantastic YouTube channel called Shacking Off. You see them. They're on all the live streams. Great guys. And right to my side here is Sam. He's always behind the scenes. You see him in the chats all the time. He's the producer for Greg's live streams. I forgot his YouTube channel. Sorry, Greg.
K6EGG.
There we go. So
K6EGG.
They volunteered to help me out with this first attempt at a live stream. So thanks, guys, for joining me. Sam, what are your thoughts? I know you have a 891.
I got a 991A, and I like it a lot.
I keep saying 891, don't I?
Just being a technician, I use it for. Yeah, you did. That's why I'm here to correct you. It's all good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I use my 991A on the daily, and I've got a dual band sitting to my left, but I don't talk on the repeaters that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm either 2-meter sideband or 2-meter just FM simplex. And I originally wanted the Kenwood TS2000, but I decided to go with the Yaesu 991A. And it's been a great radio, no problems. It's got a great receive on HF. Yes, I've hooked an antenna up to it. But all around good radio. Menu's a little long. not like icons or anything, but it does the thing that, it does the deal.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
My favorite thing now is Greg is muted, so now I can just put my voice into his. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Greg.
I know it's muted. I was saying some very important stuff.
Yeah.
So sorry you missed it, guys.
Oh, that's all right.
The world missed out.
Yeah. That's the way it goes. But Greg, you're not a stranger to the Shack in the Box concept either. I know you got the 706, which is a fantastic rig.
Yeah, I got the 706, fully loaded, whatever, Mark II, blah, blah, blah. And it's fantastic radio, Mars mod. That way I could do 100 watts on 11 meters if I want to. You just open it up. But it's fantastic radio, great size.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference, there's no built-in battery, so you're packing around an external battery.
Yeah.
Which, with batteries these days, it's not a big deal. It's not much weight anymore. So
no,
I think that's fantastic, and I wish they would just update that radio and make it the same.
Oh, I agree. I would love to see a modernized 706 come out. Again, like the same format as the 705, have D-Star on it and everything. That'd be fantastic. Now, do you one point with the external battery, far as for the portable use and emergency uses, I like the external battery because typically 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And like me, I'll carry a main battery and a smaller one, and if the main battery goes dead, if I'm not doing good battery management, you can quickly switch it out. Where if you get just the internal battery and you get kind of reliant on that, you don't have something with, you could be lights out there if you're not careful with your battery.
Yeah.
So
it's just what you're wanting to do. Like you said, you were talking about the 705, fantastic radio, right?
Yep.
Perfect, I think, for maybe not as your normal Shack in the Box for emergency communications if you're trying to reach out there, but with the low watts and stuff, it still has a fantastic receive that blows most radios away with it.
Yep.
And so if you're just listening or talking local to like a mag group or something like that, I think that's a great radio for that use.
Oh, absolutely.
Greg, you just used a term that people new in the hobby may not know. Mag group.
Oh, mutual assistant group, just local friends that you have to communicate with for whatever's going on. So maybe it's just something to check out. If you have if you're in a situation where weather happens, or if it's just to communicate and stay connected.
Yep.
It's just something local, so really close. So if you're using your 5 watts or whatever to somewhere in a regional area, that's plenty.
Yep. And that's one thing, like I said, this whole live stream is going to be more geared towards the prepper type and the emergency comms. And you kind of hit on a thing that's key for me that I always try to preach, as when you talk about a MAG group and stuff like that, is to the biggest thing that a lot of people who get into prepping, they all get into the gear, right? They want to buy the cool guy stuff and everything. But one of the biggest preps that a person can do is not having gear, not having food and water stored up, but networking with people, getting to know your neighbors, making sure your friends and family are taken care of, and reaching out to others who may be like-minded with you and stuff like that. And that is key. And I think it's also key to get people into this hobby too, is, as you say, Greg, you're trying to help people out in your area if there's some type of event or emergency, to be able to communicate. And a lot of them aren't into radio yet. You being that ambassador of the hobby, saying, hey, this is my 706, this is what I can do. Not only you get that interest, but you build the community. And at first, in this mag group that you described, chances are you're just going to be the radio guy. And everybody's like, I don't need to have a radio. I'll just go to Greg. But over time, you can be that influence to get more people to get familiar with amateur radio and get their tech license at least. Or if they say, I don't want to bother with this, you can at least get them into FRS or something like that and help them out be more useful. All right.
Yeah. So if you got the low power, QRP, you're still, as long as it's a decent radio, 818, 705, they got great receive. You're going to be able to hear, it doesn't matter how much power you're putting out to receive, you're just hearing it. So as long as you got good radio, you hear what's going on. Low power stinks if you're trying to break into a pile up on a POTA contact, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where, because there's other people blasting 100 or more watts, right?
Right.
So that's where it starts to stink. But if you're just trying to communicate with one person out there, it's a lot easier to do that if there's not a lot of people trying to contact that one person. So I'm not saying that they're not bad radios. I think they have the lightweight, it's got a purpose. So they're fantastic radios, but I still like having the 100-watt option and stuff like that, and the external battery as well.
Sure.
I'm taking notes here, and Shane, mistake number one, you said they would be going over to Greg's house to use his radio, but everyone in his neighborhood, according to Facebook, is afraid of his two Alsatians, 1010 and Pickles.
Yes. Well, I said he'd be the radio guy, not necessarily he'd be the one to go over there.
Even though they have electronic collars on, they still don't even go within 20 feet of his property line.
Fair enough. You're giving a little more insight than what I have. I see here from 14 DFA Sniper, hey, what about using an Apache 4800 and using the 80/20 extruded aluminum frame that can be taken out? I would like to get a drawing made up for FT7, I'm assuming 891, and FT2980, FTM 600. I'm a fan of the Apache cases. In fact, I got one right here that we have made with a where's my camera? With my, geez, you can tell this is the first time I ever did it. With my 706 in it. I'll be doing a video soon with this, but I have all the essentials in there. The Apache cases are great, but I question about making one into a backpack. That wouldn't be too well. I guess I don't know your situation. How far are you planning on carrying that? And where are you going to go with it? Typically for me, I have a few Apache cases set up with like a battery box in them and the one kit I have for that radio. And my intention is just to carry them and not very far. It's mostly for storage and making sure that I have all the components for that radio in one spot. So if I have to grab and go, I grab one or two cases and away I go. And it would be typically just for protection during transportation. Like say there's I need to get out of my house, there's a forest fire coming or what have you, or there's an event that needs my support, like like if you're doing a club event for a race or something, and you're setting up at a first aid station, use your imagination. Typically, it's just to be able to grab it quickly, have everything in one spot, transport it without risk of damaging, and then be able to set it up quickly at a spot, whether it be the tailgate of a pickup truck or on a picnic table or on the ground or somebody else's garage. Make it into a backpack kind of gives me the idea that you're planning on bugging out into the woods or someplace, and then it comes down towards distance and all. I see. Okay, so you're just using it out of the back of your truck.
Yeah, fantastic
Okay.
for.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect for that.
Okay, okay, internal frame. Okay, I get it. So now you're building the go kit with everything in there. For some reason, I had it flipped around, and you're trying to make it into a backpack. Okay, never mind. I was going down the wrong rabbit hole. Yeah, a lot of people will do that. They'll build an internal frame. They'll ditch the foam that comes with them, and build some type of internal frame. So that way, basically, I guess what you're talking about is you'd be able to take that out, set it on a table, pop the lid, and turn on the internal battery or plug in your external source and screw in your antenna cable. Yeah, those work great. The Apache cases, I really like them. When I worked in the defense industry, we built kits for the Army and the Navy, different toolkits of the Pelican cases. And I tell you, after years of messing with those Pelican cases, these Apache cases are not that bad at all. They're pretty close in quality. So I have not seen any reason why that wouldn't work out well. Like I said, I have a couple of them. Greg, you have a few Apache case kits, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not using them much anymore, but they're fantastic for that. So I did. They're great to set up if you just want to. Like the way I did mine was, I had the 706 inside the box, and I was able to store the battery inside with it. This isn't even a large box. This is maybe the 3800. Kind of the mid-size box.
Yep.
And I put a bulkhead connector SO239 through it, so that way the radio, and then had a small coax jumper connected to my radio to that bulkhead. So all I did was open up the box; it was ready to go, and then I screw in the antenna to the outside of the case through that bulkhead connector, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, and you didn't have any internal frame on it, or
No, I just did the foam.
Yeah,
and it's that pluck and pill, and like we've talked about before.
Yeah,
if you once you get it set the way you want, spray it with some plasti dip, and that hardens it so that the foam doesn't break.
Yep.
From overuse. It's really good. It kind of makes it one piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you see a lot of people, they'll build kind of like along the lines of what Sniper's saying is they'll ditch the film or the foam, and they'll build some type of a frame, whether it's all of aluminum or wood, that will hold everything where they want it. And if it's a radio with a detachable head, they'll put that on the top, and they'll have like a sheet of Lexan or something.
Yeah.
On the top, and then you can have your switches for everything and everything that plugs in.
Yeah, and that's super cool. I like the way they look, and that's a little bit. I don't have that kind of patience to do it or that capability of making those.
Right.
But I think when I see them, they're really sweet.
Yeah, and for me, I like the added protection of them just being in the foam. Like the kit that I showed you there, I could set it up pretty much like the way you had yours and have it so I can run everything out of it. I just pop the top and then, set the radio up on top of the foam and use it. But it's just that, when you mount everything rigid to a frame, now doesn't quite have the protection like if you're in transfer. Yeah, let me try to talk again. When you're in transport of vibrations or jarring or stuff like that, you have the foam and they'll absorb it a little more. But really, that's semantics at that point. It's whatever somebody wants. I mean, definitely Sniper. If you got the ability and the idea to build something out more extravagant, by all means do. It'd be kind of a cool thing to do, unless it has practicality to you and it doesn't add too much weight. Rock on.
And Greg, you're saying that they don't use the Apache cases too much anymore. What do you use now?
I like to just keep it ready to go in a backpack, and I just put the portable zero rails on it, which protects it. The backpack also has some padding in the for the back and everything, and it's not really like a go kit or anything like that. It's just my grab and go radio if I want to go portable or do a POTA or go visit somebody and play radio.
Yeah, once you're a new ham and you grab your first radio, you're like, I want to keep it pristine. I'm gonna baby it and love it and put in this foam forever. And then after you have it for a few years, you're like, yeah, I'm just chucking it backpack and going.
Yeah,
but it's
somehow it
protected
survived
in
the
there.
trip from Japan all the way over here in a cardboard box. It can stay in my backpack for a while.
that's a good point because the amateur radios, they're pretty much all of them are built to be field use. When it comes down to it, they're not fragile lab equipment for the most part. They can, obviously you don't want to throw them around, but they can take a little bit of abuse. Yeah, for me, quite often, like with my 891 for HF, I have the same type of rails you have, the portable zero, and I just pretty much just throw it as is into the back of a backpack with a battery, and away I go.
Yeah, even on my 7300, I have some. They're 3D printed rails that Sean Ham Radio Dude sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's protection. They might last one fall, but it's protecting it, and they're sturdy.
Yeah.
But I have a patchy case for that too, the larger one. I think it's maybe the 4800, and it fits well in there with the battery. And if I want to take that out to a park or whatever, it's and have the waterfall and everything, it's fantastic radio for that, and it's not hard to pack around with that.
Yeah. And that's a good point too. When it comes to rails, some people give the plastic, the 3D printed ones a hard time. That, well, if I drop it, I'm just going to break the rail. Well, consider it a sacrificial piece. You break the rail, but you don't break your radio. And if you have a 3D printer, you can print off a dozen of them, and you're set for life. Just because the rail breaks in the field isn't the end of the world. But if you break the control knobs off, your radio day is over. So that's definitely nothing you want to frown upon.
Yeah, but maybe we should ask Norm. We talk about the 706 being great, right? They do have that radio now. Norm has one. It's just a little bit different, with the standalone head on it.
Then go ahead. Yeah, the one they just have around since 2013, 14.
Yeah, that brand new
7100. Yeah,
that's a rail or at least I always forget about.
And it's a really nice radio, and it's all mode, all band. Yeah. The angled head is a little weird for some people because it doesn't look like a ham radio, and the head can attach. But yeah, it's pretty neat and pretty usable.
Yeah, it's an upgrade from the 706, but
yeah,
it's just a different form factor
at the time.
Yeah. But it's you can't attach the head to the actual radio, can you? Or
no?
Yeah,
it's separate.
Yeah. So that's the one thing with that one for being portable. It can be a little bit cumbersome, but if you put it into some type of a
mobile application, it's perfect.
Sure. Derek, about now you show up. Now we gotta start over.
Could you please?
We're just talking about Shack in the Box radios.
I was getting things sorted out on my end.
Yeah. You're supposed to do that before you hop in, bud.
Oh, crap. Now my audio went. Hang on.
Sound good to us, buddy.
This is why we can't have nice things,
Yeah. Well, everybody, I asked these guys if they want to hop in. They said, how we're going to do it. And I said, well, let's just wing it and see how it goes. So here we go. We're winging it. How's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not bad. We're just talking about Shack in the Box radios, the good and the bad and the ugly. What's your thoughts on them?
They're really good for as far as rapid deployment. I mean, it's going to be dependent on what anybody's looking for out of the radio. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then you embiggen me.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, the most valuable piece of equipment is what you want, or you feel that you want or need for what you need. I don't know. I'm getting tongue-tied.
Shane just makes you larger so you can't see him because he has to take a smoke. No, so you're Derek. You're a 991 club, right? Like Shane.
Yeah. I got a 991A.
Sam, what do you think about your 991 and what you could use it for?
Well,
Bueller.
Threw him on the spot, or he's locked up. Yeah, he messed the sound.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, your sound's not working. Let's go back to Derek. Derek lives in rural Utah, so he knows a thing or two about going out in the hills and doing ham radio.
I love my 991. I mean, you know, when I first started out, I mean, that's what first attracted me to it was the fact that I've got, 2 meters, 70 centimeters on it, HF. It's got the built-in sound card on it, so I don't have to worry about a sound interface.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, and I lugged it to the field with me, and because it was my only radio for a while, and then sadly it affected my bank account, and so then I bought more.
Yeah, they're a chain reaction, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's other than the menu structure being atrocious, that anybody in ham radio knows, it's a horrid user interface and menu structure.
Mm-hmm. But that was one of the things I pointed out earlier, that yes, the Yaesus are famous for being a horrid menu structure, but if you have a Shack in a Box, it's one manual of arms. Once you learn that horrible menu structure, you're set, and it works for everything that you want to do with that radio. And to keep ripping on Yaesu, say you get like the 891 for mobile portable work on HF, and then you couple that with any of their mobile VHF, UHF rigs like the FTM 500, the 400, the 300. Each and every one of them has a different menu system that's not fluid. So having just the 991A, that alleviates a lot of your problems. You have one menu system, one system of knobs and buttons to remember, and if you forget it, it's just one field manual that you're bringing with to refresh yourself.
Yeah. And Shane, don't you carry around? I forget what they're called, but they're those like mini manuals, radio manuals. What are those called? I keep my manual saved on my phone, but yeah.
Let me try to embiggen myself with one hand. The
nifty manual.
Nifty manuals. Yep, they're basically just little laminated spiral bound cheat sheets. If you get old like me, you gotta bring reading glasses with you, but it doesn't have the whole menu, but it has the high points of it.
And then you can just chuck that in your bag or your box or whatever and keep it with that radio if that's where you're storing it.
Yep, exactly.
So I need to get one of those. I never noticed. I saw you had one on a video. You mentioned it, and I saw some at the. It could have been just my local ham fest. It was a recent ham fest, so But they had a lot of them for super cheap for older radios, which is pretty good because there's still a lot of them in use. They just didn't come in any of my, as any of mine models, but they were I think they were giving them away for like $2 or something cheap. So
Oh wow.
But yeah, I keep mine, after our Iowa trip, trying to figure out if I was on high power or not on my 706 because it was a while since I changed the power.
Mhm.
I just downloaded the manual on my phone, the
Yep.
PDF, and that's a good way to do it as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you have a field computer or even just your cell phone, anything you bring out that has a manual, if you can download it off the internet from the manufacturer in a PDF form, save it on your phone, save it on your tablet, save it on your laptop. It doesn't take up any space at all, and it's very useful. And you can search, especially with a PDF, you can search keywords, so you could probably find it a lot faster than flipping through a paper manual.
Let's go back to Sam. Sam, are you ready?
This is a good bit we practiced earlier.
I'm glad we got the bugs worked out.
Yeah.
No audio, brother.
We practiced this bit earlier. Yeah, it's Sam the quiet guy.
Sadly, I got in here and I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, Shane said 6:30. And then I looked and I'm like, shit, they've been going for 30 minutes. And then I'm sitting there going, damn it, he meant Central.
Yeah, time is hard.
Yeah, it really is.
Number one, I'm taking notes. I don't think you can say the S word on the internet. And just, I'll look that up later.
If you could send me a nasty email.
Most of the difficult stuff is set and forget. That's a very good point. The FD,
Yeah,
it's alphanumeric, so that helps. Yep, good stuff. And that is true too, because a lot of the stuff is set and forget. Especially when you're doing with the HF and everything. For me, anyways. If I'm doing a Parks on the Air or some of this on the air, I'm not messing with my filtering hardly at all. That's more of a in the house type of thing, but that's just the way I operate. But I know a lot of times you can set up the stuff that you use the most with the soft button shortcut keys on your icons or your Yaesu. So if there's a notch filter or a noise blanker you use a lot, you can set that up to be pretty quick. And do you think a new version of the 857 is coming out? Boy, I would like that. I would really like that.
We can only pray.
Yep. They came off the 858 with like Yaesu System Fusion on it and GPRS, or I keep saying GPS, so you can do APRS on it. That would be fantastic. I personally wouldn't need a big display like a 705 with a waterfall or anything for a radio like that, but we'll see. They're coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but the QRP version that's going to go head to head with the 705. Maybe that's the next thing in the works is the 100-watt version of that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
The 991A is getting long in the teeth. So if you have something that's 100 watts where it's more portable, it'd be a good replacement for that and not interfere with a lot of their base stations for HF to cannibalize that product line.
That was a big reason I got an 891 was just for the portability of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I heard Sam this time. He's back. We got Sam.
Did you?
Yeah, we hear you.
My live?
Yay!
Okay. I don't know what happened.
What I love about when people ask me if you think a new radio's coming out, I just always want to put on a big turban like Johnny Carson, maybe show my age, and just go, I'm the great Carmack. Yes, it will, and it'll be awesome, and it'll be under $900, and it'll be all band, all mode, dual receive, dual transceive.
Poor Sam has been struggling with his audio for 5 minutes there, and you finally he gets through and you interrupt him with a Johnny Carson joke.
Yeah.
Jesus, Norm. You know what,
We're trying to
Norm?
get the kids. We're trying to get the kids involved.
All right, yeah. Let's get the kids involved by telling Johnny Carson jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, I'm
Welcome to
sorry.
the comedy hour or section of the show people.
As you were saying, Sam, we may have broke him.
I lost track. What was I saying?
We asked you about the 991 and how you liked it and
What was I
you thought
saying?
some advantages.
We don't know. Your mic wasn't working.
I think you said you liked it, and it was pretty good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but with a southern accent.
Well, before y'all joined in, I already told Shane about how I liked it before y'all joined in. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a good radio. Like Tio and all them say, the display's a little outdated, but it works and it does what I need it to do. I have no complaints.
I'm so glad you didn't call us you
But it's a
people.
little bit heavy to be looking around for portable.
Yeah.
So one thing you mentioned, Shane, was
peoples.
I know you got into ham radio for the kind of the prepper reasons, kind of emergency communications. And I noticed that at our last Ham Fest, we had classes set up for new testers, and 95% of them were for technicians, and that's exactly the reason they were getting into it as well. I think all of them were wearing the same hat you have on right now, which is weird.
Yeah, it's like a club. So I think with the recent events, with the hurricanes and everything, it probably put a more resurgence into prepping again. It used to be kind of the trendy thing to be into, and then was that Doomsday Preppers came out and made everybody look like idiots because they found people that were idiots and brought them on, and everyone kind of shied away. But
yeah, don't forget that time they went to Greg's house and he's just putting water into Ziploc bags
Yeah.
and putting them in the basement.
Never know when you're gonna need this.
Right.
Well, there's that. Yep.
But no, I think a lot of people have the same idea, and I think and it's fun. Like you get into it for that reason, and then find out you can also enjoy the hobby as well, other than just having it for emergency use, and just get on and talk to people and find out what's going on.
And
Yeah,
as far as the prepping thing, not all preppers carry the same thing. So I guess when one talks bad about the other, it's like, what does it matter? I'm not, our situations are different.
Oh, 100%. When you look at
carry the supplies you need.
Yep.
In your situation with whatever radio you need as well, and they do their own thing. But when they go back and forth, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, half the stuff is like Ford versus Chevy. It really doesn't matter that they argue about that they think it's life or death. But to your point, Sam, you got to take people's perspectives. What you have or what I have living in a very rural area is completely different as far as my needs and concerns versus Norm that lives in a city. And just like me living in the upper Midwest, just environment wise is completely different than you down in Mississippi or Alabama.
Not in Mississippi. Don't threaten me like that.
Them's fighting words.
Or Derek out in Utah. You know, our literal environments are drastically different.
And Greg living in my basement, he could just come up anytime and choke me out in my sleep. He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't even know what goes on inside his head.
Oh, do you even want to know?
I have a sleepwalking problem.
I know. Saw that.
I don't know what I'm
doing, buddy. How can you eat that much ham?
Why'd you drink all my milk in the middle of the night?
Oh,
Anyway,
Norm's the only house that has a lock on the kitchen door.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
boy, first show's going off with a bang, I tell you.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, you look at any real somebody that does whatever genre you want, any podcaster or live streamer, if they didn't start off from like an offshoot of a production company, their first streams and podcasts are, well, they're probably not this bad, but they're pretty bad.
Right.
Yeah, so we can only go up.
No, I think this is great. I'm watching it.
Yeah. This is,
We have
is
11
golden.
viewers.
It was so great. It reeled me into participation.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Hey,
And FA Sniper's been on
almost
here a
twice
lot.
as many
Oh,
people
no.
are watching it that are on the stream, so that's pretty good start.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, no,
we're
but
down to 10
I don't
now.
know. I think you'll get some views from your regular viewers tomorrow on it, and I think it's stuff people enjoy listening to. I think that's a big part of ham radio.
Yeah.
At least for at least kind of the Gen X or millennial viewers, kind of the older millennials. I think that's kind of something everybody's interested in. Is kind of the emergency communications. Having a radio that you want, if you just want to buy one, I think the Shack and Box is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you're just going to have one, just get it.
Yes.
Find one that you like, that you can afford, and just do it.
Yeah, for sure. The 991A is a great radio. It's priced pretty good. For an entry level, if you're not into contesting and doing a lot of DX stuff, which people with this mindset aren't going to be in.
I don't think anybody's on this show's interested in that too much.
Yep.
Other, Norm on his, Hellscriber or whatever he's doing. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, but if you want
PSK 31, PSK 335, PSK all the numbers.
Which also just talking about that reminds me, some of the older radios like the 706, you can't do digital on it unless you have the interface for it, right? The Signal Link, or I know there's some newer ones out there now.
Digirig.
Yeah, that's good too. But
now
also
we have a question for,
but I know that
we have a question for 14
for emergency communications as well. If you're worried about somebody intercepting, your communications, I know there's some older digital modes, that you can send through that not a lot of people are monitoring with that program. So
that's
also
a
a
topic
good way
for
too.
another live stream all in itself here too.
All right, we'll start that one in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. We'll regroup. No. And that's the thing where after the thing where we go, we're going to be touching on the same subjects over and over again, which is good because obviously people are going to watch all these streams and it'd be good to have. But Sniper has another good question. So are you using a Shack in the Box mostly at home or field ops? It can be whatever you want it to be. Me personally, I use my 991A here in the Shack. It's sitting right next to me. I use it quite a bit. And as far as in the field, I typically, most of the stuff I'm doing in the field is just games and practice, doing the summits on the air, parks on the air. And I've been typically just concentrating on HF on that. But starting at the beginning of this summer, I've been trying to make sure to incorporate more VHF, UHF into those sessions. And typically I've been using like the mobile rig that I have in my truck. But now that I recently purchased that 706 that I showed earlier, I'm going to be trying to do more setups with that. Yeah, as far as the shack in the box, it's really what you intend on doing. Obviously, you know, a rig like the 890, I keep saying 891, the 991A, while it's a little bit big, it's definitely something that you can take portable, mobile with. I mean, you can run I run mine off the tailgate of my truck quite often. It's nothing you want to backpack, you know, 5 miles with, but if you have one radio and you want to start doing stuff that's both mobile, portable, and in your house, that's not a bad route to go. As far as what's available new, far as new rigs that are available that are shack in the box, it's pretty much that and the 705. I think Yaesu has the new QRP one that's coming out soon. So then you're on the used market. I'm sorry, Norm. I keep forgetting about the 7100. That's still available new.
Yeah.
Yep, and that would be a good sized radio. That's a little bit more easier to tote around in the woods in the field if you're going to go.
Yeah, and the good thing about that, it's great for for a shack, for your ham shack too, just because of the angle display makes it a good radio. But one thing, you know, I started out with the 7300 and then, you know, did a separate UHF VHF radio on my shack. So right now I have the 5100 separate, you know, and then I have the 706 that I use for portable. And what I do with that, that's my backup radio. So when I'm not using it, it's in a backpack. It's got a tuner with it. It's got my coax. It's got an antenna. It's everything I need to do, a battery, everything I need to do. And when I'm not out using it for a POTA or, you know, going to somebody's house to play radio, it's in a metal trash can, a Faraday cage, as a backup, just in case something happens. You never know.
Okay, so
if you're able to have a separate radio, you know, I'd suggest storing it and protecting it too, if you're in that kind of mindset that something could happen.
And that's one thing we also hadn't talked about is all the other stuff besides the radio, like having coax, all the connectors, a tuner if you need it, an antenna, which the most important stuff is an antenna.
A resident one at that.
Yeah, and if you don't have a resident one, maybe supplement with a tuner. It depends on how much you want to carry and how big you want your shack in the box to be.
Yep, for sure.
Because Greg's a big guy, and he doesn't mind carrying around an extra 5-pound mini tuner with him.
Yeah, I just tuck it into the other side of my pants where my gun's not, you know, so it balances me out.
That's what cargo
That's
pockets
why he
are
wears
for.
cargo pants. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Is that a radio in your cargo pants, or you just happen to see me?
No, that's just the LDG auto tuner.
And now why is there an extending?
No,
mast?
that's a coax.
Where
choke.
do you keep that, Greg?
What's that, Norm?
Where do you keep your extender mast?
My extender mast.
Yeah, your fiberglass.
Yeah. Sharing secrets, huh?
Yeah. All right.
I don't want people to think I'm weird, so I'm not going to mention.
That's why you walk with a limp.
I always thought it was a bum knee.
Hey, we have Brian in the house. How's it going, man?
Like what I just walk into.
Yeah. That's good.
Little dude.
The little dude, I know Shane's got one or two of those, and I know he's having fun with it.
Which you should explain what that is if you're gonna.
Well, Shane, it's from Ham Radio Dudes.
Yeah,
The new extendable carbon fiber mast.
Yeah.
Hey, Salty Walt's in the house. Postal Wave and Wires. If you haven't checked out his channel, you're missing out. He puts out some great stuff. And he's got the idea for the perfect shack in a box. 100-watt SDR radio with a built-in tuner, basically like the G90 on steroids. And yeah, I agree. We're talking about that a little earlier, Walt. How, back in the day, Yaesu had the 857 and ICOM had the 706. If one of those, or Zagu, if they're pretty good at bringing up the game. If they had out something like the 706 or the 857 that's been modernized, like you said, SDR, and have Yaesu System Fusion or D-Star on it, GPS with APRS capabilities, and still a relatively small package, like those old radios used to be. I would see me getting rid of a lot of the rigs I have just to have one of those. That would be an all-in-one that I would definitely like.
Yeah, I don't even need the waterfall. Just modernize it just a little bit.
Yep. For me, like if I'm out doing field day or parks on the air, summits on the air, a waterfall would be nice, but I really am fine without it. Now, if they came off a rig that size and no waterfall on it, but if you had like a HDMI plug on the back where you can plug into a monitor in your shack and have a nice, great big waterfall on a 25-inch monitor, then I think that'd be about the perfect rig, wouldn't it?
I'd go for it.
Yeah, something that didn't take up too much space on your desk, that you could plug into a monitor and have all the display that you want right there, and yet just unplug the power and the antenna and the cable going to your monitor, throw it in a backpack, and you go out in your vehicle or to a picnic table. That would be, there you go. I think Walt just came up with the perfect radio.
What do you think, Derek?
I wish they'd listen to us.
Yeah, what's that icon, Ray? Is that his name? Let's get Ray on the show. We'll talk to that guy.
Ray Novak.
Yeah, Ray, if you're watching, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you.
Send him a link.
Yeah, I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah.
I mean, all we can do is
I'll
speculate.
ask him then. Yep.
What we really want is for you to go back about 20 years and make those again. Be perfect.
Well, I wonder what would something like that would cost. I bet you'd be with all that stuff that we want now. It would probably be a $1,800, $2,000 rig.
Yeah, well, somebody like very early on in the chat was mentioning Go Box stuff. I think it was the, whatever radio with the VHF radio, the 2980.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought one of those in 2019, maybe, and Norm and I went and bought our little brother one. Went in on it; they were $120.
We have a little brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah. So we went in together and bought him one. We got it for $120, and they're pushing $200 now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 5 years ago. So radios aren't getting cheaper. Everyone you'll catch them at a fairly good price, but you add more stuff to it, it's just going to get more expensive.
The closest thing to that on the market right now would be the 705, which is what, $1,700. Now, if you expand that big enough to be 100 watts, you got to add $400 or $500 to that price tag, I would guess. Just as statistic, Yeah. As statistic is a number I pulled out of my butt.
It's a good word. I like it. I'm going to use it.
Ryan WM8G says dollars a slot, that much value. Yeah. concur.
Yeah, all right, let's get into it. So the Federal Reserve, right? So this is going, the gold standard. We're going back to Nixon, right? What do you say about this, Sam?
Here we go. I gotta put on my Johnny Carson.
We put a man on the moon.
You're right.
Think we already did.
Yeah, the 7300. I think it has. Well, it has a decent tuner the way it is, like a 3-to-1 tuner. So if you're pretty close, it'll get you there. But if you go into emergency mode, it'll tune things up pretty darn good. But it achieves that by bringing down the wattage that you're able to transmit on.
Yeah, we'll flow back the wattage.
Yeah, our buddy Mike into MAK has a fantastic YouTube channel, and he's got a few videos where he did that, where he tuned up something that he typically couldn't do with emergency mode on his 7300. So yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, Kiddus.
Yeah, I agree with Jamp Scan. Yeah, radios. If you adjust for inflation, if you go look back in the 70s and 80s, yeah, they were, even the 90s, they were way more expensive than they are now. So we're still living good times. I'm not going to complain.
Oh,
Radio wise.
The only thing I'll complain
if you want a head of lettuce, it's another thing. But I just eat Chef Boyardee, and that's on sale now for $1.29 at my local Kroger.
I remember when Chef Boyardee used to only be 89 cents.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Man, times have changed.
Yeah. No, the only thing that frustrates me is it seems like ham radio misses the boat on modernization of electronics, and I think that's no secret that it's been around. I mean, hell, radios are just coming out with USB-C chargers, but I think a lot of that is the European standard that got let loose 2 years ago,
Right.
where if you sell electronics, it has to have USB-C interconnection to it. But other than that, it sucks. I mean, you have some of the most powerful devices that are, well, sit desktop and no bigger than a book.
Yeah. But you also got to remember, we forget how tiny the market is for ham radio.
And we're cheap.
Yeah, that's the huge thing. Where they're not, we keep saying the 7300, that's kind of like the benchmark for entry level HF rigs since I've been in this game. It seems like if not every other ham has one of those. So you think they're everywhere. But in the scale of things, we're talking tens of thousands versus you get to a little cell phone like this where each model is made by the millions. It's a scale of magnitude where it has all this more technology in such a small package because of volume and stuff like that. It's hard for the Asus, the Zygus, the Kenwoods to recoup their development money and startup as far as all the tooling and everything they need to make production, and they're only making thousands of like the 7300. I don't know if they've made more than worldwide, would you guess, maybe 200,000 of them at the most? I don't know. I'm just kind of pulling a number out of my ass again, but when you look at the iPhone 16, they probably already made 1 million of them before they even launched them.
Yeah, they've definitely made a lot more Baofeng UV82s or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Then they have 7300s.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and they only made those because they were using them in the commercial market over in Asia. So, and then they just flipped them over here as ham radios at the time, and they gotten better and better over the years and with spurious emissions. But I'm not gonna pretend I'm an expert here.
No, you're on YouTube. You can. You are an expert.
You're on the internet. You can't say anything that's a lie.
Yep. Look at this, Norm. You are the center focus of a live stream on YouTube. You are the expert.
Yeah,
that's why you got the glasses on.
Yeah, and Brian says
everything.
And I'm going to say it like he says it. I thought I saw Icom said 100K 7300 sold.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising at all.
No, yeah. Yeah, 200,000, Shane, sounded like a bit much. I'm going to write that down as another mistake you made.
All right.
So I can write comments.
Make sure you mark down that he's saying 891 when he meant 991 for about 12.
I wrote that down 3 times.
Yeah.
Every time Shane says 891, everybody's got to take a shot.
We don't drink on this channel.
Oh, geez.
No.
I have a hard enough time speaking English when I'm sober. You want me to get sloppy drunk that fast? Come on.
If you do that, we're having a spelling bee.
All right, radio time. We talking radios?
All right, wait. What do you got to talk about? What do you have to say about radios?
No, that's all I had to say about that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, another good comment. All of the RF makes certain cables not as fragile. I'm not sure. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
They'll offer shielding on them.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the cables you can get will come with shielding, but what do you want to pay for them?
Yeah,
it's just like why is Cat 7 out for Ethernet when Cat 6E does the same thing? And hell, a lot of businesses still run on 5E. Cat 7 shielded.
Yeah.
All right, nerd.
Is Cat 7 even a approved standard yet?
It's out.
Oh, I'm seeing Cat 8 cables and Cat 9 cables on Amazon.
Yeah, and there's also 100-watt Baofangs.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last I'd looked into it was up to that, and it's terrible to deal with.
You're a network guy. This is what you do for a living. You're sitting there climbing up mountains, shoving Ethernet cables into stuff.
I just go where I'm told.
But you do have to put Ethernet cables in stuff, equipment.
A lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you drive home and then look at stuff online and drive back and do it over again because you screwed it up.
Yeah, or it kicked your ass and you're wanting to research how to whip it the next day.
Yeah.
We're still talking about radios.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're talking about whip and stuff. I don't know. It's getting weird.
So this is the guy that's locked in Norm's basement.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is look up Norm.
Yeah.
Keep it down.
Mom made Hot Pockets, Greg. You're not getting any. Playing your video games on the computers.
Yeah.
With your fancy microphones. All right.
Oh, is he talking about Norm or
no?
Derek?
You know what's sad? All I want for Christmas are 2 flashlights because I lost them about 3 months ago, and I'm pissed off because I use them religiously every week.
This has to be another stream. Flashlights. It's something I've bought a few in the last couple of weeks. I think I own more flashlights than I do change of socks. What are you using, Derek?
What, for flashlights?
Yeah.
I got, so like one of the favorites that I found, the only thing I dislike about it is the placement of the button, because if you go to put it in your pocket, and I always pack a pocket knife with me, but if you put it in your pocket and you're fat like I am, your leg crunches up into your belly and hits the power button, and it's so damn bright that it feels like your thigh's about to catch on fire.
Yeah.
But it's a little
Right.
that's probably about a 5-inch Nebo inspector light.
Oh yeah.
And
I've had them go off in my pocket. I was in church and it went off, and I just thought that was the Holy Spirit, but it was just my flashlight going off. But no, seriously,
it was the devil had your ass at that moment.
Nebo's overpriced garbage. Don't buy Nebo. I'll send you something.
I'm not buying
Nebo's
Wow.
terrible.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, don't get it.
Not a sponsor.
I already ordered it today.
Wait, hold up. We got a new sponsor. Nebo flashlights. They're the best flashlights I ever had.
Sure.
Yeah, Nebo's like, that was like the first like Chinese crap that came over. You know, like, you know, back when the only option was Maglite, and you know, so it was good for what it was, but now you know, it kind of became a Chinese standard, and it's not any good. There's way better now for better price.
Nemesis 6 is asking for your recommendation, Greg.
Well, those through nights, you know, that, you know, Sam's got one, I got a couple, you know, under $20, can't beat them. Check them out on Amazon. One of the places I watch for good gear is 704 Tactical, or 704 Gear. He gives out good recommendations. I can't remember the name. I just got one in yesterday, and I can't remember the name. I got it for $30, and it's probably the best flashlight I have. It beats my, you know, I have a PowerTech flashlight I bought. It's like $100 8 years ago, and this thing blows it away. Plus, all flashlights I buy now, USB-C rechargeable. It makes it easy. Or at least get it with the, what is it, the 18650 rechargeable batteries.
Well, I know how I am. You got
Olight.
2 flashlights on me.
Surefire.
Yep, I got the Surefire Tactician. That's my in case of emergency light, and then I got the where's my damn camera?
That's
the little Olight Baton 3. This thing's awesome. Rechargeable, has like 4 settings. This tiny little thing takes up no space in my phone.
Wait, does that have that reverse hat bill clip on it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing you should insist on having, is the reverse pocket clip hat bill.
That was the second light I ordered, was a stream light. As a
Yeah, you won't go wrong with Streamlight either.
Yep, Streamlight's great. I like Surefire, Olight, Streamlight. I have a Streamlight laying around somewhere too, but
The thing I wish Olight, I love Olight. I got a couple of them and some weapons lights for them. But they use that. I hate a flashlight now that use the I don't know the name. I can't say it. Proprietary. What's it got?
Proprietary.
Whatever.
exclusive.
And
yeah,
I can't use it. But they have that magnetic USB charge on it. And if they just switch it to a USB rechargeable, it'd be perfect.
I like this because it keeps it more sealed up. So if you have it in your pocket, you're not getting a lot of lint or crud into it, and it keeps water and everything else out too. That is a downside, but that's the way it is. Yeah, most of my stuff is USB chargeable if I can.
Yeah, but even now,
Surefire, that one's, you know, the lithium 123. Was it? Okay, make me open it up. What's the name of that battery?
18650.
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Or CR123.
There you go, CR123. I knew somebody would answer before I could get the thing.
Or is it a 123A? You know, sometimes it's got an A on the back of it. Who knows? It's stupid. Get rechargeable ones that you just plug in. They're fantastic. And they make the 18650s now that you just plug into USB and recharge it that way instead of putting in a charging station. So it is a fantastic world for flashlights and batteries right now. You get what you want for good price.
That was my tactic. Where the tactician is super bright. It's not rechargeable, but it's very, very dependable. And I just keep that in my back pocket. Basically, I just use that if this guy goes dead, which is just a rechargeable one, or if I need this, it's technically like a fighting, the James Jaeger in me. If I need it for go time, it's always ready. But
one thing I noticed is probably your Surefire probably has that on there. Is I like the tail switch light for the on and off, and I like the side button for the brightness. Because I don't like turning on a flashlight and it just scrolls through the mode. So when you turn it off, when you turn it on, it's on high, and you turn it off and turn it back on, it's on medium. I don't like that. I like separate switch for that.
Yeah.
But Derek said his went off in his pocket. So on your Surefire, it probably has a kind of a high rise guard around the tail switch where that helps from that happening.
Yeah, and the tail switch in this one, it does protrude. I keep forgetting where my camera is. It does protrude out quite a bit, but it does take a little effort to turn it on. So it doesn't go off very often. It's pretty well protected. But yeah, it's just a different style with this Olight. It's all on the side button here, but it's a little difficult to push off too. They don't go off by themselves very often. They're pretty well thought out designs.
Yep, and I have a one of the things Drew and I did. I think I got. Hang on. Get my earpiece back in. Yeah, I got a couple in here, still in the box, but just for extras. These are through night savers.
We're going to do a giveaway tonight.
I don't care.
Hi.
All right. Put your name in the chat.
We're giving away great stuff.
Just joking.
But they're fantastic. But they have a AA battery that uses it. So everybody usually has plenty of those. But it comes with a rechargeable it comes with a USB-C rechargeable AA battery. So you can recharge that. But if you don't have a way to recharge it, if you're out in the field, but you have some AA batteries with you, just chuck that in there, and it's good to go. So,
yep.
I've went to these because they make one that's just USB rechargeable only, but I've switched to these because I could recharge that battery by itself, or chuck an extra just a regular non-rechargeable battery in it. So it's just redundancy is good.
Yep.
When you talk the old school Maglite blast from the past popped in my head of an incident I was involved with. It was me and two other friends. My buddy's car broke down on the side of the highway, and it's wintertime. We had the flashers on, and lucky for us, one of the county deputies came driving up. We're only there for about 10, 15 minutes. And he gets out and sees his car's dead. I can't remember what. We're high school at the time. So we're driving a piece of crap car. Just quit working. We're only a few miles outside of town. And he's like, "Where are you guys heading?" And we're going back to the town we live in. And he goes, "Well, I'm heading that way." He goes, "Hop in. I can give you a ride to your parents' place." And so we hop in. We start driving down the road, and all of a sudden he goes, "One of you boys smoking?" We're like, "No." He goes, "Can't smoke in a cop car." We're like, "We're not." A few more minutes later, he goes, "I smell smoke. When you guys are smoking?" We're like, "No, we're not smoking." And so he looks down and he pulls over. his mag light was on, and he was burning a hole into the seat of his squad car.
Oh,
He was yelling at us for smoking in his car. We're like, dude, why are you smoking in your car? We're not that stupid. I mean, we're stupid, but we're not that stupid.
Do you remember when the police officers had that like leather ring belt attachment that fit a mag light? It was just like an
yeah.
open ring, and you just dropped a flashlight into it, and they'd have it on there. And you know, it was the big, heavy duty, you know, flashlight and baton.
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna tell that story, Greg, where he wrestled from the cop and smacked him in the face?
No, I did not do that. I didn't do that. At least that's what the lawyer said to say.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't me. I didn't do it.
But if anybody that watches this, if they're interested, check out the brands we mentioned. And Black Friday is going to be coming up soon, so you could probably catch some pretty good deals in a couple weeks.
No doubt.
For sure.
Best time to buy.
All right. You're a promotions guy.
Yeah, you know, I like to stretch my drug dollars, you know, or my flashlight or radio, whatever I meant. You know what I meant to say.
Hey, it's all good, bud. No. As all 10 of you that are watching us, which is about 8 more than I was expecting, we're just figuring this out as we go along. We might get better, not much better, but we'll get better. And that's kind of why we kind of did a soft launch and not really did a lot of publicity on this, because we're just kind of figuring out. As of now, we're going to do it once a month, but we'll see what happens in a few months.
Yeah,
We had a lot of good comments.
Yeah, good comments, and then give Shane some ideas on what to go with next time.
Oh, I got a whole list of topics.
All right, never mind. Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, no ideas. He has a list.
No, for sure. Definitely throw it out some
And my
ideas.
list is getting bigger of things Shane says wrong. So, yeah, let's just keep going on with his ideas.
Oh, we
It's
could,
his channel.
we could have an end of the year special of just Norm listing off everything that we did wrong.
Number 1. My name's Scott.
Starting on November 6th, 2024. Oh. No, I was thinking topics like backup power for when ideas for backup power for power outages at home and portable power, as far as pros and cons of solar and all that kind of stuff. I like to do stuff on Meshtastic. Derek and I have been talking a little bit behind the scenes about Meshtastic. We can maybe even do a build of a Meshtastic kit that shows you just how easy it is to do. Talking maybe BAM plans. I would like to go through some BAM plan type stuff. I'll talk to more of you guys behind the scenes in case somebody steals our idea.
Yeah, we got lawyers.
We got lawyers. Patent attorney. We timestamp everything here. Say we said it first.
Right.
Yep.
How do you write his number down off the billboard when you're driving, Norm?
Yep. Yep. And I
How do you do that?
I was just asking.
Oh, I thought this was set up to a joke.
No.
No. And then talk about pros and cons of encryption. I might have a guest lined up for that topic, and all kinds of other stuff along these lines. And we kind of covered some of the stuff too that I wanted to talk about also on the alternative stuff, as what kind of other supplies that you want to have with gear to complement your kits.
Yeah, we can talk about, again, only 11 people are watching us.
Oh yeah, we could redo this Shack in a Box thing about 5 times before
Yeah.
more than 10 people watch us.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this format is when we get into this roundtable thing, we're just going to talk about everything anyways. So
Mhm.
It's who do you have lined up for decryption ham radio?
It's a secret. That's why I didn't say it.
You got NC Scout coming on?
no, I would like to get him on for sure. Yeah,
I'll get him. My agent will get him on.
Yeah.
people will talk with this
Get
people.
Greg's agent on the phone.
Yeah. Your people will talk to his people.
Yeah.
No, there's a list of.
I got him on speed dial. Hold on.
All right.
On the bat
Oh.
phone.
On the bat phone? No, there's quite a few on the prepper com side of things that I like to pick the brains of, and I will be reaching out to. But I got a feeling we should probably have a few shows under our belt that are a little better than this one, because they'll take one look and say, yeah, no, thank you. But
Favorite bands is the Talking Heads and FM modulation. Wait, I think that. Sorry.
SDR owner.
Yeah, SSTV Facts and
Mhm.
STV Ready. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'd like to talk with you, Norm, is like just doing, and Sam too, you have some experience of SDRs and scanners. I think scanners are one thing that's definitely overlooked in the prepper side of things. They think comms right away. They think it's talking to their people and others and reaching out. But the biggest thing is just the intel that you can pick up from a scanner, just pulling all that information in. Whether
Yeah,
it's
sometimes you might not want to
Yeah.
transmit, right? There's times where you shouldn't transmit.
Absolutely.
So just being able to receive is,
Yep.
that's you gotta. You're already ahead of everybody else. So
Oh yeah, that's a show topic itself too. Is Signet type of stuff too. But yeah, bands and modes for me, it all depends on what you're trying to do. Far as on the preparedness side of things, 2 meters for sure is something that's very practical and useful. FM or single sideband if you got the right radio. I kind of prefer single sideband because not as many people use it, and you get a little bit more of a range. Also, as far as regional things going, if you're going HF and you're going to do NVIS near
Near vertical incident skywave.
There you go. I always get the I and the V mixed up in my head, and I try to say NI something. But yes, near vertical incident skywave. Basically, when you're putting your signal straight up, it bounces pretty much straight down. 40 meters is very good for that because it's pretty consistent through all hours, and you'll get a good, Derek, 200 to 400 mile radius of pretty decent coverage if you set it up right. I'm making them do math on.
Just say yes because we're on YouTube. like Shane told me earlier.
Yeah,
You
well,
just
just say
yes
no.
if you're on
No.
YouTube. Yeah.
no, for
No.
Just speak with authority. You're on the internet. People will believe you if you speak.
Yeah.
But no, that just makes sense. If
Yeah.
I'm doing the local, if I'm just talking to somebody, I'm doing Parks on the Air, our buddy Evan, W9ZAW, I'll hit him at a park close together, but we're both using vertical antennas.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you're getting ground wave at that point. Yep.
makes sense.
Yep. So for me, it's always the application of what I want to do. When I'm just having fun and doing Parks on the Air and trying to get contacts, probably one of my favorite bands is 15 meters because the noise on 15 meters is a lot more manageable. It seems to be quiet all the time. And now as we get up in the solar cycle and things are more active, and especially with Parks on the Air, how that's getting more active. The more common bands, the steady bands, 20 meters. If you start calling CQ on there, you definitely get a pile up in no time. But then you get a lot of people who will just, if you're like me, will annoy you. It seems people on the off bands like 15 meters to 17 meters are a little more civilized. So it all depends on what you're doing. As far as the practical prepper side of things, emergency comms, for me, it depends on what you're doing as well. If you're just doing immediate stuff in the neighborhood, civil unrest, a tornado comes through, a hurricane, and you're trying to talk to people 1 to 10 miles away, UHF, VHF is going to be the way to go. But if you're trying to talk to people 30 miles away consistently, now you're talking NVES, and I would be going 40 meters or 80 meters, dependingly. Everything else is where it's at. I don't know. It depends on what you have and what you're trying to do. What do you say to that, Norm?
I concur.
You
Just here
invited
so I
Evan
don't
on
get
the show.
fined.
Well, if Evan's here, you say, what? Yeah, Sam, before you guys hopped on, me and Sam were joking about our buddy Evan, because I said, he's going to find that link. He's going to hop on and not pay attention to the rest of the conversation like he normally does, and goes, where are we watching tonight? What live stream when we're on? Yeah, what one? What are we watching? All right, inside joke. Evan, we love you, buddy.
Yeah,
Not really.
Mr. Parsnack.
No,
Here's a good question.
no,
Well-
go ahead.
I need to figure out the right balance between choosing the right size battery for a go kit. Don't know what one should plan for emergencies. Finding the right balance, cost, size. Yeah, that's
16 amp hour. Done.
6.5 hours done. Yeah,
Next question.
you want to go find that balance between something that's compact and easy to go, but yet will have enough power to get you through what you want to do.
Yeah,
It's
compact.
basically
And practical.
it comes down to practicality, your budget, and what you're able to carry and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Here's a battery that I just picked up, and I'm gonna make a video on pretty soon.
I have that exact one.
Ain't this thing great?
Oh, dude, I love it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's oh, thank you, whoever did that. It's a LiPo battery. It weighs maybe 5 pounds. 20 amp hours. And what I like about this versus other ones is just the construction of the case. It's a little bit thicker than the other hard ones. And if you notice with my Batcave lighting, that all the edges are nice and chamfered and rounded. There's no sharp edges, which is nice for, first off, it's easier to grab onto. And if you have it in a backpack, it's not poking you anywhere.
If you drop it on your toe, it doesn't stab you.
If you drop it on your toe, it doesn't stab you, and it isn't a stress point where it'll shatter. So it's built to take an abuse. It's sealed up really well. They say it's water or weather resistant, but I don't know what an IP rating it has. 2 solid screw-in, like a 6mm lugs. And of course, I'm in this dark back cave, but it also has a DC barrel plug here for both, obviously you can charge and discharge from both of them. It works pretty well. These are like $60 on Amazon. And I had this running. Let me reach around again. I should have my prop set up.
I like when you do a reach around.
Jesus.
Why'd you say that?
Oh boy, how do I recover from that? I had that running this Yaesu 50 FTM 300. Jesus Christ! Now I can't get there. I had that radio or that battery running this FTM 300 on scan mode for I think 3 days, and then I checked it in a net or two. So obviously, if you're using if you're transmitting more or less, not quite as long, but I got a good solid weekend of continuous runtime just monitoring with that 20 amp hour batteries. So it's definitely something worth checking out. I think that's a great all around size. Now, if you got the room and the budget, more power, more better, but then it comes more stuff to pack around and more weight. So it all depends on what you're doing. If you got like a little QRP kit, a little 3 amp hour battery like this little Bioenno will last you many, many hours too. So I guess there's a lot of the great ham tubers have videos on trying to figure out battery size. Mike Cade MRD does the Smoking Ape, Jason KM4ACK, I can never remember his call sign. They have a lot of good resources that are a lot better than me as far as specking out what you need for a battery. But just from a gut check sniper, from what you've been talking about, I think this guy right here would be right in your wheelhouse.
Shane likes it because it matches his Go box.
Right?
Yeah, you gotta coordinate, man.
And to kind of add on to it, one of the things you want to consider is what kind of, if you're doing it in the prepper sense, what kind of sustainability do you want out of your power source? I'm sure a lot of people in the Carolinas, when Helene hit, they weren't anticipating on power outages or the damage that had taken place and being without power as long as they have been and were. So I mean that's the point where you can spin off into Shane's other stream idea of, do you implement solar or do you go to a cost-effective generator alternative or anything like that.
But that is that barrel connector on top of it to charge it? That's good for solar chargers, correct?
Yeah, it's the barrel is both the lugs and the barrel connector are input or output. It'll discharge or take a charge in. So whichever fittings you have. Obviously, the way I had it set up is on the lugs. I just hooked on those cheap Amazon fuse kits and then put the Anderson power poles on the end. So it's set up for most of my stuff, which is Anderson power poles, but the DC plugs work well for everything else too.
So one thing you mentioned earlier, connectors, so easy ones, BNC, right? And Anderson power poles are,
yep.
Just make whatever you're using. And, if you have other people in your group, just make sure you're running the same stuff, either connectors,
Oh, that's, are you reading my list of topics for this live stream? Because that's what I want to work on too, is different connectors and making sure that you're standardized as a group, and then also having the right adapters if you work with people that aren't in your group or what have you.
I might be looking at it. Is the next thing on your list your favorite fruit?
You're my favorite fruit, Greg.
No, top fruits. This year we're going with oranges.
Oranges
Just not any oranges.
Oh, oranges are going to be huge. They're going to be the best thing ever. Now, Derek, you said you got that eco-worthy battery too? What do you think about it? How's it been working out for you?
It's doing pretty good.
Doing fine.
Godzilla. What are you guys laughing at?
Well, I was going to say something, but
Keep going, Derek.
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
good. Your sound's muted or something, Derek.
There's the embiggen bird. But anyways, no. Sorry, I'm fighting a damn head cold, so I've been blowing my nose.
Yeah.
If I
can
remember
tell
to
you're
mute my
you're
microphone.
sweating.
Anyway, no, it's
You got the
it's
forehead
going
sweat.
awesome. I haven't been able to kill the battery yet. So I'm one of the I always run the glass half full, so to say. So if I go out and I use it 2 or 3 times, even though it's half depleted, I'm gonna charge it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you get the charge cycles and everything on that. That's I try to keep them top off as well too. I think he's talking BNC.
No, there's TNCs. TNCs aren't real common. That's the only
Okay.
issue with them.
And this is why Derek's on the show. He's the field technician for infrastructure type things. TNC. Okay.
That's my only issue with them is there, as far as RF goes, in the applications I've used, I only come across them once, I think, for one application. Other than that, everything's usually an SO or a PL239 or an N type. Usually we'll run N type on external antennas just because they have the little rubber O-ring, but still we tape the hell out of them.
Sure. And for me, just ease of use, I've kind of converted everything to the BNC connector, just simply because it's just a quick quarter turn to hook them on and hook them off. Using the PL or SOL or SO, the threads over time you're going to be wearing them out a little bit, and if you're in a hurry or if your hands are cold from snow or wet and rain, you cross thread something. The BNC is just so easier to hook up and take down. That's just my preferred method. Paul, I've been using solar for a long time. Need batteries 2 or 3 times. What you guess at first?
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but it's interesting. That's something
I don't know.
Get into more.
I don't know with the MPPT controllers anymore. They're pretty dang efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, and when people talk about solar efficiency, you see a lot of people setups and stuff, and they'll say that, the panels are too far away, you got too much line loss and everything like that. And all of that stuff is maybe true, but I'm looking more on the application. Like if I was going to be setting up my house to run solar full time, I'm going to be scrutinizing everything as far as panel location, line loss, what's the most efficient charge controller or not, because it's going to be running 24/7. It's going to be what's keeping things on. When I'm thinking for a field setup for radio, where I'm doing field day or parks on the air or an emergency, I'm more concentrated on what can I set up quickly and what's going to be durable to hold up for that period of time. If it's not the most efficient method, I'm still getting power in and I'm still keeping my batteries topped off. And I have the same philosophy when it just comes to radio anyways, where people will go out for a parks on the air and they'll spend half hour, 45 minutes fine tuning the antenna up and down, get the perfect SWR. where I throw it up, and if I'm 2 to 1 or less, I'm good. I'm going. Am I as efficient as I can be? No, but I'm on the air and I'm making contacts right away. Now, with that same thing with the radio, if I'm setting up my house station, I'm going to be a contester. I'm setting up a permanent radio. You damn sure I'm going to make sure I get the SWR down just fine. You're damn sure I'm using the most efficient coax and everything, so it's a permanent setup. But for as temporary or emergency purposes, the efficiencies are not quite as important to me. Granted, it needs to work, but my main concern is that I can get it up quickly and it's workable as fast as possible, and away I go. Derek, you look like you're holding in a fart. What's so damn funny about that?
I was laughing at you getting it up quickly. Sorry, it's my inner kid coming out.
Sam, sound effect.
Yeah, and if anybody needs to get it up quickly, we also have recommendations for stuff for that. So let us know. Another episode.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
The one time I'm rolling and being actually informative and serious, you had to bring up dick jokes. Awesome.
My bad. Squirrel.
No.
But
Well, the way you
No,
had your
no.
face, I'm like, what? Am I saying something like, did I read that question wrong and I'm going completely off topic here and answering something that doesn't need to be done? But no.
that's my day and my mind is full of that's what she said.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
Let's-
Derek already said he had a head cold. He doesn't, he doesn't mean it. He's having a hard day.
Just the tip.
not just the
Oh,
start of it, the whole thing.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
All right, is anybody still watching your
That
show?
snowballed quickly. Dude, 12 people still hanging around. Thanks,
I was
everybody.
gonna say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
13.
I mean, really,
Oh.
this is no different than a Wednesday night conversation.
With this
Yeah,
group.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
that is yeah, for sure. This is
Yeah, it's
the
probably
whole-
more radio we talked in a long time.
yeah. Yeah.
It's usually more the jokes.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
as far as the ham tube thing, we thought this would be a cross between Crash Course and the Clubhouse and have a crash house type thing, I guess.
Yeah, I think it fit right in.
Oh yeah. We'll be fine. All right. Well, what else, guys?
About time to hit that button, huh?
Well, time to hit that button.
Well, it's almost your bedtime, son.
Yeah,
You got
that
7
is.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can turn into a pumpkin.
Oh yeah, pick on me because I'm old. Well, I promise I'd do this, even though I don't self-promote stuff, but I do have a buy me a coffee, and if I ever start live streaming, I'd give shout outs. So to our buddy Dennis, my one coffee supporter, you're awesome.
Yeah, and then speaking of Dennis, it reminded me earlier of another battery somebody might be interested in. So another
Oh, the
time,
Denko batteries.
another conversation
Yep.
for another time, maybe. Or
Mhm.
he's got it right there. Hold on. Excuse me while he whips this out. There
Yep.
it is.
He makes pretty much this style of battery. It's a 6 amp hour battery. I've used this for Parks on the Air. I know our friend Mike N2 NAK has used them for Parks on the Air. They worked great. They weigh next to nothing. Sniper, if you're going with that 20 amp hour one like this to be a backup will be kind of nice. They're pretty rugged, and Dennis is one hell of a nice guy. He also sells these as a kit. where he did the tough part when he put those together. If you ever see the builds of those things, you got to do a little spot welding. He takes care of that for you, and you just put the rest of the kit together, so it works out pretty well. So it might be fun.
I'm betting that's just so you don't set yourself on fire.
Yeah. Mostly.
He's a thoughtful guy.
Dennis is a hell of a nice guy.
Well, I said that one time when he punched me in the stomach and said, "You're effing fool," and I'm like, "What?" And he just had some beef against me because stuff Greg told him.
Yeah, well, Greg is pretty convincing.
Yeah.
Denko, let me see if I can find you a link.
I didn't know he went into selling them as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have to push back a little bit of money if he's selling them, you know.
No. Let me find the damn. Here we go.
I'd say one thing about his website, it's not the easiest to search around, but
No.
just keep looking and you'll find it and know you're supporting a fellow ham.
Yeah. Let me see if I can keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah, you sure?
So how'd you get this cold, Derek?
I went to a place where I didn't want to be.
Family?
No.
An alley?
No.
Oh, that alley that Greg goes to
No,
with the mattress?
this was the Salt Lake City trip coming home with me.
Oh.
Was there a
That's
mattress
why-
by the creek?
What?
Was it under a bridge?
No.
Yeah, I don't know the place.
I stay away from there.
All right. Oh, shit. All right, Sniper, I think you found it, and then I just put a link in the chat, too. So with that, yeah, we should probably wrap this thing up. So there you go. Started off talking about the pros and cons of a shack in a box, and I think we covered all kinds of subjects between Derek's health and flashlights and solar and all kinds of fun stuff. So
living in a basement.
Hey, and just think, next month's December, we've all hit our health deductibles. Let's go 80 meters.
Oh. All right. So we will regroup. I think we got a few bugs worked out, and a few bugs will stick with us again. But we're going to do this again, same time, 7 o'clock Central on the first Wednesday in December. And then we'll regroup and see what we do for 2025. But I think we got something we can work with. If you guys are still up to this, we can just keep on going.
Been fun.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was fun. So,
Well, you just got to work on that awkward silence in between us talking. But
yeah.
To those who check it out, we appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for seeing number one.
Y'all be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.
Yep.
And
Norm and Greg have a
tomfoolery.
channel too called Shacking Off. They don't put shit up for content anymore, but they'll be starting to do that more. Maybe we'll get you to maybe we can dual stream in both your channels so we get more people out. But
yeah, we need to get back into the Shack Lube.
Yep.
Yeah, dual streaming is a little different from where I come from, but we'll figure it out.
As long as we don't cross them, we'll be all right.
That's right.
All right. Well, with that, thanks everybody. It's been a fun time. We'll do it again.
See ya.